Hey, everything but the last slide. I'm going to fix that last slide this evening. Good morning, everybody. Daniel
Good
Allison.
morning.
There it is. There it is. Good morning, Daniel Allison. First sip. First sip. This is where you come to get your mind right every single morning, 7:55 to 8:10. And we've got a guest this morning, Freddie. Did you notice?
100% did I notice, because y'all have the same hairdo.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and we're all around the same age, too. I believe Rodney, STEELE, all the way from New York.
That's right.
I believe you're about the same age as the average dude, are you not? In your 40s?
Yeah, what, we're 22? 23?
Remember when we were 22? That was awesome. But hey, so glad to reconnect with you. Of course, knew you and Eric from your show here on LinkedIn and had a chance to get to know you just a little bit.
Yeah.
But then as I've gotten to kind of know you through doing some research to interview you here and kind of thinking of you in this new kind of outside of that world of just doing that show, it's been great getting to know you, man. So looking forward to this conversation this morning.
Yeah, no, I am too. I appreciate you having me. I look forward to chopping it up with you.
Yeah.
It's actually my first sip.
Hey, Freddie,
First sip, let's go.
First sip, let's go. And I changed the.
By the way, I love the way, I just want to say this. I love the format. And I just want to show you. Remember I told you a long time ago I had a cup similar to yours? This is the one.
Oh, dude, that's a cool mug.
Yeah. I know we talked about it. I don't want to get off on a tangent, but that's
the
one I was talking about.
We've only got 15 minutes, but me and Rodney and Freddie have been in here already chopping it up. It's been a fun conversation. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you, I know that you've been in sales. You went to UNC Chapel Hill, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Down here in North Carolina.
University of National Champions. That's right.
My dad loves the Tar Heels. So I was always a big Tar Heel basketball.
Anybody but Duke. Right?
Christian Leitner.
My dad loves everybody.
Christian Leitner.
Oh, come on, Freddie. Come on now.
I think Freddie's a Coach K guy, right?
I believe Freddie probably like, I don't know. Freddie, are you, what is your colors basketball?
Oh, yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm a Blue Devil.
Why, man?
Bobby Hurley.
Bobby Hurley.
Yeah, you know what I remember? You know what I always said? There was always at least one person like Duke. We found him.
Yeah, this is it.
That's right.
No,
that's right. Yeah, but always those were some great games, and I'm sure you went in there in that 96 to 2000 range. So I don't want to digress into that too much. But then after UNC, you got into sales. Yeah. It looked like you had a kind of a regular type role. Tell me what happened in your sales career after UNC and kind of what got you to where you are today.
So I went into finance, and I did that for a couple of years. That ended in 08, and I discovered professional employer organizations. And I won't bore you with it, but I discovered what they were. Yeah. And I worked for a couple of them, 2 of them to be exact. And then in 2010, about 14 years ago, I started Dinsmore Steel. So to answer your question, I've been in sales my entire life. Even before when I was in college, I worked at a bank, like a real bank, a depository bank, RBC. And I was selling accounts and CDs and personal loans, whatever it was, right?
Right.
I've always been in sales my entire life. I mean, even as I remember as a child being in the Boy Scouts, and you know how the Girl Scouts sell cookies, the boys sell popcorn.
Okay. I
sold popcorn like it was my job. I've just always been good at sales. Like when I would go to people's house and they would be like, well, this is how I used to pitch it, right? I don't remember the exact numbers, so stick with me. But let's say for 3 10s, it was $10, right? Those little tens of popcorn, and let's say it was $10. I would say, I think one was like 3 or something or 2, and I would say, well, you could buy one of these, you could buy all 3 of these for 10. I never gave them the option for the smaller ones.
Oh yeah,
everybody has $10, right?
Straight to the big ticket.
That's right.
Straight to the big ticket, but that makes me think of 10X is easier than 2X, right? That book where it's kind of like, hey, let's go for. So you had success in sales, and then you made your way up to New York, which I just thought that was interesting. I don't know anybody from New York.
Freddie, you know me.
I know Rodney now.
That's right.
Rodney Twisted Steel.
That's right. That's me.
But now, I mean,
yeah. So I moved up here after college. I moved up here after college to work in finance, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I liked New York City. I lived in New York City. Now I live on Long Island, and it's more laid back and whatnot. But it's amazing. I love it here.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the energy's off the chain, and you seem like the right kind of person to be up there. So the next segment that we have is the quote of the day. And I think you've been thinking about it. And I've got this little segment. You're going to love this, Rodney.
Quote of the day. Quote of the day.
And there it is. So the quote of the day, we love quotes, and we like to ask the guests to come up with something or to share a quote that motivates, inspires, or makes them think. What do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, so I thought a lot about this. I have a quote by Jerry Garcia, oddly enough. And
okay.
A couple of years ago, right, when I'll tell you a quick story. So a couple of years ago, I really got into the Dead and really Dead and Company. And I started listening to them because I like John Mayer. So I started listening to them. And I really got into the old stuff. And I started following Jerry Garcia because I knew so many people liked him. And he was such an icon. So I wanted to know why. And I realized it was his work ethic, his music, so forth. But one of the quotes he said that really stuck with me is that you don't want to be known as someone in your industry or you don't want to be known as someone that does what you do. You want to be known as the only person that does it. And that stuck with me, not because obviously you can't eliminate your competitors, but when you think out loud, I think about certain people. For example, if you say who's like a really good guitar player, right? I would say Eddie Van Halen's up there, right? There's certain people in different industries, right? Even Jerry Garcia that are at the pinnacle or an example of what a pinnacle would be in their industry. And so I always try to strive for that, right? What does that mean, right? How do I become the best? That usually motivates me.
I love that. And Freddie, where does that take your mind?
Well, it definitely resonates with me because when somebody sees a piece of compact equipment, I want them to think of Freddie at Bobcat. But it also, in Rodney's world, I feel like he has put it out there where he's so established that he's got big numbers and big claims about how much money he has saved companies and how much money he can save per employee, that he's got to be the guy in the industry.
I love that too. And I was going to bring that up as well. But the one thing that I wanted to say is, there's a lot of salespeople. There's a lot of musicians. There's a lot of people that do the same things. But if you watch the We Are the World documentary, we watch that down here. And you have all those different types of musicians in the same room, but they all have that unique personality. They still remain individual and kind of their own qualities. And I think that differentiates them. And so I think that when we have competition, there's nobody like us, right? So we've got to shine in the way that makes us shine. We've got some comments. That book should be prescribed material for everyone. Enric Blott, thanks for joining us, Enric. I'm not sure which book he was referring to. And then Enric and Laura Louise used to live in
nice.
Cove.
Yeah.
10X better than 2X, probably.
10X, that's a great book.
It's here.
It is a great book. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Enric is the one that suggested that one to me. Mina, good morning.
Hi, Mina.
Thanks for stopping in, getting your mind right with us. And so now we've got the 2-minute skill, And Freddie, why is it important? And why did you come up with this segment called the 2-minute skill?
Well, everybody that comes on here may have a different perspective about what it takes to succeed, to climb the corporate ladder, depending on what industry you're in. So within 2 minutes, if you can tell somebody that, almost like an extended elevator pitch, why not do it live?
There you go. Yeah. So Rodney, you've got complete freedom here. We don't care where you take us, surprise us, but we're gonna make your screen big, and then we're gonna roughly. Hey, and Enric, I want you to give me some tips on how to make this particular screen right here look really good. But Rodney, you've got 2 minutes. Share whatever you'd like to.
Yeah, so I think maybe what I'll share is maybe the way to do well at sales. Maybe that's a better idea.
I love it.
Because I feel like if you do well at sales, I used to have a boss and used to say volume cures all, right?
Absolutely. We love that, brother.
And I agree. So this is what the strategy I always took in every industry is, first of all, you have to understand what you're selling, right? So whatever that is. And then you have to figure out who it fits for. So like in my business, right, I help a lot of CEOs, CFOs, HR directors, decision makers, right? So what we do is that we figure out who we can help, right? And then we figure out what help they need, right? So what are their pain points? What issues do they have, right? A lot of times in my business, I'll use mine as an example. C-suite and HR directors and HR supervisors, they have issues with various pieces, be it payroll, benefits, so forth, right? So what we do is we try to figure out the generalization of what those pain points are and the problems that solves, the PO solves for. And then you try to talk to as many people in those positions that fit your criteria as possible. And then you try to figure out exactly what their pain points are, right? So like, I mean, an example is someone's pain point might be payroll. Someone's pain point might be health insurance, right? They might be both of them, but at the end of the day, right, I need to talk to them to figure out which one of those that it is. Once you figure out what the pain point is or the pain points, what you have to do is you have to solve for them. So a lot of times I'll say to people, like, what is your issue? They'll tell me what their issue is. And I'll say, well, so I understand this is the challenge that you're having. They'll repeat it. And then towards the end of the conversation, I'll say to them, well, if I'm able to provide a solution or find you a solution that solves the points, is that something that would make sense, right? I think a lot of times what people do in sell, they try to sell things. I don't try to sell, I try to solve, right? If you need health insurance and I can help you get health insurance, it doesn't come down to whether or not you need it. It comes down to which one you need, right? And that's what I think people miss. Another thing I'll say too, right? And this isn't directed at anybody, I'm just saying in general, if you take 10 salespeople, I would say maybe 2 of them are good. The majority of people I find in sales probably shouldn't be in sales.
Agreed.
That's been my experience, right? I know people will debate and whatnot, but I find that to be true. The other thing I would say too, I happen to be exceptionally lucky. I work with Sandra Anderson, and she is one of the best I've ever worked with, and she's an incredible salesperson. And one of the things that she's taught me, and one of the things she does, is that she is incessantly takes notes. Right, she really drills down about what's going on, and then when she presents a solution, she literally they don't have any questions.
Yeah, taking notes, that's a big deal. I always like to see that too. Freddie, I saw you taking notes while Rodney was talking. Why do you take notes, and what did you think about what he said?
Well, what he said was on point, and here's what made me take notes, because what do they need? Uh-oh. And then once he figures out through communication and listening, he repeats it back to them, and it's immediately their idea.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but what I appreciate about what he said, number one, and I'm surprised Honor didn't say something about the who, right? It's so important to find out who is it that I'm looking for, and what is that person, what are they experiencing, and what am I going to solve for them? And from a business owner, your business, Rodney, there's a lot of people, business owners, in pain over what? Over workers' comp, over health insurance. And it's a tough world. What makes you guys different in that very tough world where you are able to do I love what you're doing with your content and stuff. I told you that. Like it started, I started thinking, well, that Rodney is a cool dude. And I didn't even really think about what you did. Right. Yeah. And then I started looking at it like PEO. I don't even know what PEO is. But the more I started, but tell me about kind of how you differentiate in that world.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So one of the things that really separates us is that I've been doing this for a long time. So a couple of things that really differentiate us is that we have over 70 years combined experience. Everybody at our brokerage has worked at a PEO. Barbara actually owned one. We're all licensed brokers, so we can speak intelligently about health insurance. We can compare the plans, right? We're not guessing or thinking. I always say, right, we leave people positive, not maybe, right? The other thing is that what normally takes about 2 or 3 weeks or maybe a month to do takes us somewhere between 5 to 7 days, right? And sometimes on like even 7 to 10 days, right? But the point is that we replace all the forms, we replace all the sales pitches. But what I really think makes us different is the ability to get the things accomplished like that we can, right? Like I could pick up the phone or send an email and get things done that typically a normal person that hasn't been doing this for a long time they just can't do it, right? So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of advantages. I think the other thing is that, and this sounds weird, but is that I'm genuinely interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Right.
I can see that. I mean, you've obviously had success in it. And I think the more that you have success, the more that you kind of dig in. And so now that you built this snowball now, right? And like you say, you've got connections. You've been doing it a long time. And I'm assuming you're probably pretty good at it, right, Rodney?
Yeah, we're pretty good. I mean, we ran some numbers recently, and just to put out some numbers, as this is shocking to me.
Yeah.
We ran all of our case studies because we do a case study on every group that joins us. And we save on average $2,016.78 per employee per year. I mean, that's an average, right? But again, it's exactly right.
Look at that 2K592. I like that. Freddie with the little subtle messages planted within this.
That's
so,
right.
Hey, we're already out of time, guys. We could have probably talked for another hour, but hey, I'm at the beach and these kids want to go probably ride the waves or something.
I mean, I want to go ride the waves. Can I come?
Absolutely.
Do you have on your trunks under that? Average dude. Are you ready for the beach? I do go straight to the beach.
Exactly. I really am. Yep. So
you got to take off your shirt and jacket before you jump in.
Oh yeah. I didn't want to do that, just before the camera goes off. But hey, one more question before you end it, guys. If you can see in the corner of your screen the new logo, is it getting there? I know it looks like an ES on the first sip mug, but it's supposed to be an F and an S. Is it getting there or not? Hit me with it.
It's
We're headed in the right direction.
I thought it was ESP.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. ESP. So
you know what I think would be really clever, if I could just give a suggestion?
Absolutely, you can.
Use the Starbucks logo and just make it your words. They're not going to see you. Flip it. Like take the what is she, a mermaid or something? Just flip it. Like reverse it or do something with that, or make it a podcast or talking or something.
Okay.
Use it, because then people recognize it.
Now, if I get sued for that, can I talk to Rodney and you give me representation?
Well, you know what's funny is I actually was talking to a lawyer a while back, and I believe I may be wrong on this. We can ask ChatGPT, but I believe that if it's changed 30%, you're okay.
Boom.
If it's what now? If it's changed 30%?
Yeah, if it's materially changed 30%.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And he's a pro. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really good at Canva. I mean, I can tell you that.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate the feedback. I'm going to keep working on it. See, it's supposed to be like the steam coming out of the mug, and it's kind of a face and hair. Get your mind right.
Maybe just use your picture. You guys are good looking.
Together, me and I did want to kind of use me and Freddie together, but it's hard to make that work. But hey, that'll be on all the promo material.
That's what you need.
Right.
I think this is a great idea, and I thank you for having me on the show, and I look forward to.
Hey man, appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. Later, guys.
See you.
Bye.